welcome to Stage to Sofa. Today I am joined by a very special international mezzo-soprano, Serena Malfi. Now, Serena's sung at many different opera houses internationally, all over the world, the most recent of which is the Metropolitan Opera House for their production of Così, tutte as the character of Dorabella. Serena, thank you for joining me.
Hey,
Ciao.
hi.
Ciao. How
Ciao.
are you doing? How are you finding
I'm
this
fine.
huge transition you've been faced with after a very busy few months?
It's not easy. I was in New York. I had my last performance on the 11th of March. And then, of course, I had to escape from there and come back home. I had like this nightmare flight back to Italy because, of course, you are scared, everybody with the mask. I kept my mask for 12 hours. I was not drinking and not even eating, nothing, because I didn't want to move the mask from my face. So it was quite stressy, but we did it. And of course, the first 2 weeks, I was really, really scared. Now I feel better. Also, the situation is going better in Italy, but the beginning was really horrible. It was awful, and it's awful everywhere still. So
it has been a very challenging time, and I can imagine going from New York straight back to Italy, where, you know, at the time especially that you traveled back, it was very much at the height of everything. It must have been incredibly scary, and
yes,
to keep your mask on for that long, wow, well done. But I'm glad that you're safe and well now, and safe at home with your mum and your brother and your cat.
Yes.
What's your gorgeous cat's name?
Okay, so the official name is Black Fury. And of course we call him Misset, Gatto. My brother called him Assassino, murder, killer, because he always kills his toys in the water bowl. We don't know why, but we always find dead toys in the water.
Oh my goodness. Well, he's a very big personality of a cat then. Very, very fabulous. Now, Serena, I'd like to take you back, if I may, to when you were a teenager. And you had a very exciting audition coming up for the Conservatoire of Rome. At what point did you fall in love with opera, and how much did it impact the rest of your life?
Look, for me, singing was just a hobby. I've never thought I could have singing in a theater, for example, never. And of course, I was singing mostly pop music, jazz, things like that. Never thought about opera in a serious way. And then when I was 19, I did this audition, this exam in the Conservatorio of Avellino, that is close to Naples first. And I entered there, but I was studying at university. I studied law. I wanted to become a lawyer, a judge, some completely different from opera. But then there, when I was 19, it was like a revelation. Starting studying, and you discover a new world and say, oh my God, I want to do this in my life, and I'm gonna try it. Of course, my mom helped me, family helped me at the beginning, because you have no money, you have to study. So I went to Rome, I went to the Conservatorio of Rome, and then I had some masterclass with Renata Scotto, Raul Jimenez. And then from zero, I did my first audition. I was still studying. I did this audition, and I got 12 shows of Barbiere di Siviglia in Zurich Opera. And I was like, what? I cannot even sing the general rehearsal. Please don't do this to me. I don't want to do it. It's too early. I'm not ready.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yes.
It's so intense. And, you know, like you said, you went from 0 to 100. You've got 12 shows.
Yes.
Got to sing the role. What do you do at that point? You're at a point where you've been given this incredible opportunity and you want to grab it with both hands. But as you just said, you're terrified. How did you cope with that huge transition?
I was studying every day like crazy, hours and hours, trying to do my best. Also because I was 21, 22. So it's like the technique is not ready. Your voice is not really ready to do all this. But I was studying, and I did the best I could do at that moment. Of course, I would love to come back and with the knowledge of today and see what happened singing at that point. But it was, yes, of course, scary, and but I did it. And then it went, of course, it's better now. It's better now.
Wow, you've had, your career has just soared and soared and soared since then. So I'm now wondering, you've sung at so many incredible opera houses all over the world, Berlin, Milan, La Scala, to name but a few. What has been your favorite opera house that you sang at, and why?
I remember a moment in Palais Garnier in Paris, Opera de Paris. And there, when I went to the stage, I started crying. Because, you know, you see this Chagall ceiling and you think, oh my God, Maria Callas was on the stage. And I just started crying there. I had to sing Cenerentola. It was really, really a lot of emotion there, yes. And of course, when you go on a stage like the Metropolitan, it's so big. Oh, mamma mia. It was really, okay, do you think I can sing in this space? 4,000 seats here, 4,000 people. Oh my God. But it has a beautiful acoustic. So, yeah. And of course, La Scala, you always feel like you're terrified of La Scala because of, you know, of the history and the theater and the audience, and you are Italian. So it was like, yeah, I was quite nervous.
How did you cope with that mental preparation? Because as you said, you had these incredible opportunities, but when you were at the side of the stage and you're about to go on as Dorabella or whatever character you're about to perform, how do you mentally prepare and shut all of that out, all of that, the audience, everything? How do you focus?
Usually I'm very nervous before going on stage, even if in the last couple of years, you know, when you start doing it more and more, it's always better. So you're not as nervous as you were before at the beginning. But of course, there is always the emotion of going on stage. And I start dancing and talking with the people that are just backstage and having fun and make jokes. And then when you go on stage and you start, of course, you have this adrenaline just for maybe the first minutes, but then it goes and you can enjoy it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing. I think definitely there's something to be said for that adrenaline rush, and then, you know, you soak up the audience energy and you just go, which you absolutely do on stage. I've seen your performances and they're fabulous.
Thank you.
I'm also thinking now, you have your home in Naples, and you have a really lovely family life there. You've got a wonderful, wonderful partner as well. How do you balance the opera lifestyle with family and being there and having time with them? How do you cope with that?
Well, of course, now with the FaceTime and Skype, everything is much easier than before, because I can see them and I can talk with them anytime. Of course, my boyfriend is also a singer, so when it's possible, we just trying to follow each other. When the other one is free, follow the other one, you know, it's normal. But this period, it was so fast. It seemed like, I don't know, nothing. And I thought it was going to be really bad and long, but it was like nothing. We are already in June. Oh my God. So it's better like that.
It is bonkers, isn't it, how quickly time has flown in these last couple of months. But I'm glad to hear that you manage, by using the technology, which we're so grateful and blessed to have in this time and age.
Yes.
Now, I'm also wondering of obstacles throughout your life and obstacles that you face to get to the point in your career that you're currently at, which is a hugely high standard. Now, I know you did a beautifully moving interview last year on the devastating illness that you had, thyroid cancer, that you were faced with in 2016. How did you mentally gather the strength and physically gather the strength to get through that point in your life? And how did it affect your voice at the time?
Well, it was not easy, of course. When I discovered it, the first thing I thought, why not in another place? That it's horrible to say. Because, you know, thyroid cancer is a slow cancer. And if you take it on time, even if it was already at the fourth stadio 4, we say here, I don't know, it's quite advanced. They were able to take everything out from me. And of course, before the operation, the worst thing is the waiting, because when I knew that, I just wanted to go the day after to the hospital and finish it, please take this thing away from me. And so the waiting was terrible. I was, of course, not studying really, because I was thinking, if something happened, I won't be able to sing anymore. So why I have to study now before going to get this operation, this surgery? And then, of course, I went there, and I was, when you are on the bed and you are in the surgery room, I started talking with the doctors, making jokes, because of course, if they are nervous, they don't do good their job. So I thought maybe it's better if I make jokes and if I am just calm, because in that moment you can do absolutely nothing. It's not in your hand. So I have to say I had the best sleep ever. And when I woke up, the first thing I remember, they said, Serena, breathe, and I did like this. This was the first thing I did after the surgery. And I said, okay, my vocal cords are intact. They didn't touch the nerves, because in the thyroid there are 2 nerves. If they touch them, it's like you cannot even talk properly. So I was so happy in that moment. But I had to work a lot, because I had to wait like almost 1 month, maybe less than 1 month, because of course you cannot swallow well and you have pain. And then I started to study with my voice doctor. And sorry, because my voice doctor just died for COVID.
Oh,
and
Serena,
yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I didn't want to get emotional.
It's okay.
But
it's absolutely fine.
He helped me a lot. Every day with him for months. And this was in May. And in September, I was at the Metropolitan Opera singing. So, yeah.
What an incredible man to get you through that huge.
Yes, he helped me a lot.
Huge obstacle. Wow. And also, in that short amount of time to then be stood on the Metropolitan Opera stage almost 3 months after.
Yes,
how was that for
I
you?
have to say, my God, it was scary. I still had, because of course then everything is fine in your body, but psychologically it's like you're not ready. And I had also panic attacks also while I was singing. Of course, nobody was realized that I was so scared. Just if you were like there watching me, my face in my eyes, maybe you could see something, but it went quite well. And the important thing is that I didn't really stop. I never stopped, because more time, I don't know if I would have had like months of not singing, it would have been probably worse. But this thing made me, when you want to do something, you have something and you go for that. So
that's amazing. And to have come through it and had that pure focus, even despite the psychological elements that you had to face after. And I know that well personally. I've had a similar, not quite as severe as you, but similar situation. It's extremely difficult to explain to anyone who's not been through that, the level of anxiety it can cause mentally. So
yes.
Well done for getting through it. And my gosh, your career has soared since. It's so inspiring, and you inspire so many young artists. So I am just a huge fan, and so much admiration for you for what you've come through. And I'm also wondering now, what is your favorite moment that you could go back to, whether it be your career or personal life? Do you have a moment, singing wise perhaps, that you could go back to?
Maybe, of course, you remember the first time you sing in a new theater. It's always something special, that moment. The first time you go out there and take the applause after finishing an opera. So, and I can remember, I don't know, the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. I can remember the Met. I can remember Paris. I think I remember all of them, all of those moments. The first time you sing there, and the feeling that you have after doing all the thing. Oh my God, I did it. It's this relaxing moment that you have after you sing. Even if I perfectly know every time where I was wrong. So if that sound was not good as I wanted, so I always think about this, but at least for a moment you have this feeling of calm.
Completely. It's such an exciting adrenaline that you experience, and I imagine on that stage especially, you know, I saw your whole face light up. It's such an exciting moment for you. And I'm also wondering now, obviously a lot has changed over the last few months. How do you personally see this art form moving forwards after these challenging times?
Of course we have to be patient, everybody, because this thing needs time. I know that many people want to go on stage right tomorrow, but it's not so easy. And I know that many theaters are going to have problems maybe for years, but of course music, arts, opera, all of this, they will never die. So it's just a moment, it's just a period, and we will pass through this. Because we singers, we live in theaters. Of course, we are doing lots of things, maybe online, recording, but it's not the same thing. Our place is the theater, is with the audience, is with the orchestra, is with the choir, is with all the people working backstage. So we will come back on that, I'm sure. It will be faster than we think.
Oh, I really hope so, because you need to be on that stage giving audiences your beautiful, gorgeous talent as soon as possible. And I hope that will happen very soon. So in terms of next generation of young artists, Serena, what advice do you have for the young singers of this next generation coming through at this time, particularly? What advice would you give them to cope?
Well, I think they have to have lots of courage now. And of course, I always say that you have to be always very prepared for everything, study a lot, so you don't have surprises. And of course, you have to be also, because it's a big stress. It's not an easy life. So you have to be prepared of that. And you have to be really, really strong, because it's always more complicated than you think. Sometimes you think, oh my God, the opera singer, what a life. It's amazing. You travel all the time. You have this diva life and whatever. No. Personally, for example, during a production, I'm always at home. Try to don't get sick. And I just go to the theater. I don't have a big social life. Sometimes I spend most of the time alone. So of course it's not easy. It's not easy.
I think definitely it's something that you can't go into lightheartedly. It's something that's a well thought out career, I believe. Thank you for that piece of advice. That will help a lot of our young singers, I'm sure. Now I have come to my final question, Serena.
Yes.
What piece of advice would you give to an 18-year-old Serena?
Oh. I was like, why? Why are you doing that? I'm joking. Or probably, well, if you think this is stressful, don't worry, it's going to be worse. Actually, it's better now. But I don't know, just to enjoy it, because it's the most beautiful job in the world. So to enjoy it more, because of course, at the beginning, you just think about technique and how to sing well things, and you don't really enjoy what you are doing. And so maybe to enjoy it a little bit more.
I think that's a fabulous piece of advice. And thank you so much, Serena, for joining me on Stage to Sofa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.